So the reason I made my crouton video is so I can go ahead and make my onion soup video, so I can put my croutons on top. So French onion soup, main ingredient is the onions. I use the sweet Vidalia onions. They have a lot of sweet flavor to them, so I like those the best, but you can use any onions, and I've seen several recipes where they mixed it up. They did a yellow onion and some Vidalia onion and some red onion. I've never done that. I've always just used straight sweet Vidalia onions, but it's really a preference up to you. I don't use homemade beef stock for this. I just use the Swanson's. I like the flavor of the onions and not too much of the flavor coming from the beef stock. We're also going to have some minced garlic, some sherry, and the secret ingredient here is kitchen bouquet. It really gives the onion soup the right color. I don't like onion soup that's really kind of milky or light gray. It looks more like mud than it does soup. I like a nice dark color, and this definitely does the trick. I'm going to melt some Gruyere cheese on top of the croutons. We're also going to need a little salt for the frying of the pepper. We've got some, I know this says dried chives, but it's actually dried thyme that I had in a bag, and I had to put it in some kind of jar. So it's dried thyme. We're always going to have one bay leaf. And I'm going to saute the onions in regular olive oil, not extra virgin, and some butter for added flavor. And that's about it. I'm going to get these onions prepped up and get them in the pan, and then I'll be back to show you how I fry. Alright, well, most people know how to cut onions, but for onion soup there's just a little bit of a trick. I try to go through the center, and then I flip it over and try to get it through that center. Right there, I won't be able to do this and hold the camera. So what you end up with is quarters like this, and what I like to do is take that center out. It's a real thick piece in the center, and that's hard to chop up, and what you end up with big chunks of hard onion in your soup, and you don't want that. So from there, I'm just going to cut it with the grain and cut it longwise, so that you just got a bunch of little U-shaped onions like this. And so I'm going to do the whole pot just like that. So that's basically the way you want them all to look. This way you get a nice uniform size and shape, and they tend to cook down a lot more evenly doing it this way. Okay, so now here's the onions, and this is the pot I'm going to make my soup in. But if I were to fry them in this or try to saute them in this, they would more or less steam, and they wouldn't really caramelize. So what I do is I'm going to caramelize them in a bigger pan. I got more area for them to spread out in. It also speeds it up a little bit. So I got some olive oil and some butter. Like the flavor of the butter, but the olive oil will keep the butter from burning. I got a good amount of onions in here, so now the trick to get these caramelized just right and get all the sweetness you can out of these onions is to cook them slow, and what I mean slow is on medium heat, and you want to just keep rotating them continuously, really. Also going to throw a little salt in here to help them release some of their moisture. And this is going to take a while, probably about 25 to 30 minutes. So I got them going now, and I will let them go a few stages and then come back and show you how they're progressing. So it's been about 10 minutes now, and as you can see, the onions are just softening up and starting to become a little translucent. They're about a third of the way done. So again, just keep rotating them every minute or so. Keep them on medium heat. I got it just above medium heat, and keep them going. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes now, and you can see they're really quite softened up. I don't know if you can tell or not, but there's just starting to develop a little bit of color now. So we're going to try to keep going. Notice nothing's being burnt or anything like that. We're going to keep these going until we get even color throughout the entire batch. So during this last 10-minute phase, right about the middle 5-minute mark or so, you want to put your pepper in, your spices in, your ground pepper, a couple dabs of minced garlic, and your dried thyme. These onions are about done. They got about, I'd say about 3-4 more minutes. I raised the heat up just a little bit, get some more color going. They're cooked pretty well through, and just about ready for the next step. Okay, so these onions are exactly the way you want them. Hopefully you can see that color. Just the right amount, just light brown. And now what you want to do is deglaze the pan with the sherry. It's about a cup of sherry. It's just cooking sherry, nothing special. Now, from here, I'm going to transfer these back into the soup pot here, and then I'll pour in the broth. Okay, so add the broth. It depends on how much or how little broth you want. If you like a lot of onions and a little broth, then don't put so much. But if you want more broth and less onions, then put more broth. So it's basically the way you like it. So there goes the broth. There goes the bay leaf. And as you can see, it's sort of a light color. So here goes the kitchen bouquet. Be careful with that. You can make it really dark really fast. And you may not want it too dark. That looks pretty good right there. It will darken up a little bit as it cooks. We are now going to cover this, and we're going to cook it for about 30 minutes covered. And I'll come back and show you that. Okay, so I've let this cook for about 30 minutes. And it's about ready to serve up. So we'll fill in this bowl. Hopefully you can see that. Whoa, there goes the steam again. Hopefully you can see the color. Again, you can adjust that any way you like. I don't want to fill this bowl too full. Not entirely sure if this bowl is oven proof or not, so I definitely don't want to make a mess of my oven. So there go the croutons. Here goes the cheese. Again, this is Gruyere cheese. It's like a smoky, softer style of Swiss. It melts good. Any cheese would do. I've seen people use provolone, mozzarella, regular Swiss. Really, it's up to you. I got my oven on broil, and I'm going to go ahead and just put this in until it's browned up and melted on. Alright, it's looking like it's just about ready. Got it browned up on top. Everything bubbling. And there you have it. French onion soup. Thanks for watching. And if you don't want to make all those croutons, or you may not just want all that bread on top of your soup, another way that you can top your soup is with a couple of these. So just put a little oil on a heated pan. This is medium, just over medium high heat, and then just let that sit there and toast slowly. It'll be about maybe 5 minutes on each side, and I'll come back after I'm ready to flip them. So just go ahead and lift them up. Once they start to turn brown, as you can see, they're good and ready to turn over. Rub them in a little more of the oil. You can go ahead. I put them close together so I can get my cheese on. And it'll start melting from the bottom because the toast is so hot. It just came off the hot part of the plate. And then what I'll do is I'll put these in the toaster oven to melt them the rest of the way and brown the top. Melt the top and brown the top. And I'll wait till the bottom is just about toasted, just like the top. Okay, so they're about done on the bottom. And I just transferred them to a foil plate here. And what I'll do is just throw these up underneath the broiler of the toaster oven. And those will take about 4 to 5 minutes. I'll keep an eye on them. As soon as they brown up and melt, they're ready to go into the soup. Alright, well, they've been in there about 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes, and they should be about done. Yep, I don't think I'd want to leave them in there any longer than that. So we'll just bring them over here. I got another bowl of soup ready, and we're just gonna drop them right in there. Go ahead and grab a spoon, and there you have it. That's a little bit neater, easier to eat bowl of French onion soup. So try that if you don't want to make the croutons, or if the croutons are going to be too much bread for your liking. So again, thanks for watching, and hope you enjoy it.